All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's session of Banks Wants You to Know, your latest source for financial discipline and literacy. So today's video will be a special one. As you all know, in the United States at least, Mother's Day is right around the corner. So for so many years, there have been many ways to celebrate the women who gave us life, and a lot of money involved in those celebrations, of course, whether it's giving gifts like the biggest bouquet of flowers that you can find, or dinners, whether it's at home or at a restaurant, or even more heartfelt gestures such as quality time or cleaning the house. Any and all types of displays of love, I'm sure, are appreciated by them. But I wonder, how do people take this holiday into account financially? Will they spend their last? Will they plan ahead for it, like I would advise? Or will they say, hey, times are hard, I ain't got it like that, but I can do something else for her? Each of those options do show the intent to do something to show that great love for a mother. But I want to know how you all decided to purchase the gifts that you got for mom. Also, since it's literally around the corner, it's also kind of a reminder to go ahead and make those last minute plans before those stores close and you'd be out of luck. So for today's video, it'll be for those who are honored on this day, the moms, and the ones honoring them. So in that case, almost everyone is included in the honoring. But notice I did say almost. So I know this is, and it can be, a tough day for a lot of people, including myself, to be honest. So I want to also send those condolences to those who are grieving this weekend, either for the first time, either it's 30 plus years later, or anywhere in between. I'll attempt to make this as lighthearted as possible. But with all that said, jump into it. First, I'd like to touch on some history. This is something I actually just recently found out, but the holiday was made a national holiday in 1914 by President Woodrow Wilson, and was the idea of a lady named Anna Jarvis. However, this may surprise you. Once she started to see how commercialized the holiday started to become, or in other words, how businesses started to profit and how much money started to go into it, she started to make strong efforts to stop Mother's Day from going any further. Really, just a few years later, starting in 1920, spending a lot of time and a lot of money in the process to try to stop it. Yet, obviously, the special day for moms has continued to go on after her death in 1948. Today, the commercialization of Mother's Day has continued, obviously. Several industries do profit from our interest to show our moms some love in this one day out of the year. Look at your local grocery store or your local department store or big box department store. Potential gifts are everywhere. Even on commercials on TV, they have that idea plugged in our heads. Now, I don't know if you've seen this particular commercial, but I can't get that Pandora one with the Whitney Houston song playing in the background with the kids. I can't get that out of my head. It's a really sweet commercial, but still, that's their advertising, their marketing is really working on us. And I'll also have a link to an article I read about Anna Jarvis and her attempts to end Mother's Day in the description of this video. Now today, or should I say this year, it is estimated that US citizens will spend $250 on average per person for their gifts and events. Also, as a whole, we will spend around $34 billion with a B in total on everything Mother's Day related. Wow, that's a huge amount. So what I wanted to do today is take that $250. We're going to base our example today. Say every person in the world decided to spend $250. Now, to be honest, I can't remember in preceding years, I can't remember spending this much on the totality of what I've done for my mother on Mother's Day. But we'll use this as an example. I feel like it's a good ballpark number. And we will, let's say there's 4 things that we do, 4 common things that we will do for that 200 with that $250. First one I can think of, taking her out to eat, um, with the family, things like that. That's always a good time. That's definitely gonna be included. Of course, we know Sunday is gonna be packed, um, and the rates may increase due to the demand. So that's one thing to watch out for as well. One way to adjust is going a day early, going for breakfast, things like that. If you want to avoid the big crowd or the long waits. Another thing I'll put down here, they definitely got to have the flowers. That's a staple. The flower industry is booming around this time, so that's definitely a thing. Thing number three, gonna go with maybe you decide to get that get your mother something to add to her wardrobe, maybe for her work clothes, or if she's into any hobbies. She goes out, hangs with friends, things like that. She wants to update her wardrobe. She wants to have something hip on from her obviously younger kids. So she'll appreciate like a new outfit, uh, new shoes, whatever the case may be. Then the fourth thing that I can think of is some type of appliance gift that she can have in the home. Now, I did read something earlier that's kind of frowned upon, to not get a gift for a mother that requires them to do more work. But I mean, some may like uh, cooking or things like that. So I think an enhanced appliance better than what they have that may make something more efficient. Example I can think of is the instant pot. That may work. That may work um, for one who doesn't have one yet. So it really depends on what pretty much what it is. So I'm gonna go here first. I spent $30 on a bouquet, but I'm gonna put 40 for this example. Um, a dinner for two, let's say with tax, with tip, that comes out to around $80. So we're already at 120, almost right there at half of, really close to half of this 250 already. All right, so I'm talking about that Instapot, something similar. I remember me and my wife, we had ours gifted to us, but around that time I believe it was $65. Let's say this time it's $75. So now we're at 195, and then okay, maybe you don't fall out too much, but you find something on a deal, like at an Old Navy, a store like that. You find something good, and that turned out to be $55. And just like that, that's how quickly you can reach 250 dollars by these four common things. You already at $250. So think about the times where you've, in past Mother's Day events, gifts, that you've spent that money to buy, you know, take her out to eat, buy her various gifts. And you may have come up with this amount without you even really knowing it. sometimes that's how money works. But now let's talk about how do we get there? Like the three examples I talked about earlier. For some, it may be their last. It may be, from their paycheck, they may be willing to, all right, this is what I have. I'm getting paid in a couple of days. Let's go ahead and max it out. Or let's say over here, maybe they strategized. Maybe you strategized. Maybe okay, Mother's Day is coming up in May. April started putting some money away, put around $100, and then from the next check, um, allocated 150 to put those two amounts together to start buying these things, or you maybe started buying things already ahead of time in April or in March, and so that when it comes closer to Mother's Day, you only have to buy um, you only have to buy dinner, or you may have to buy just one other thing. So that's the kind of strategy that I like to portray on this channel. At least like having a plan. I kind of say that in almost all my videos, like having a plan. Um, this this may be fine if you're able to do it, just as long as you just don't wind up broke. Wind up broke or wind up crawling to the finish line. What I mean by that is crawling to payday. But having a strategy where you put some money aside, or you start buying gifts in advance to so that when you come to the weekend or the week before, you only have a few things to get. uh, in either circumstance, we're still showing our mother love, and I know I like that. So I guess I would rather go with this end, but let me know in the comments how that went for you. And then there's also a time where you may not have anywhere close to this amount, and it may be hard times, and you're just not able to do any of these things, or may just be limited on what you can actually do. Now, I do remember a time, I believe this was back in 2017, when I didn't really have the money. Something may have happened, but I really didn't have the money to do something extravagant like this. So I decided to do something that I mentioned earlier. I had cleaned the house. It was a house that my mom had just moved into, and took it upon myself to just go ahead and straighten some things up. I feel like that would have been a great help for her. Now, it did take a lot of time. It took just about that whole Sunday, and it was just me doing it. But I was proud to do it, and I could tell that she was appreciative of that gesture in lieu of an actual gift or of an outing. I want to say, just like in that example, it may this year it may take doing something outside of the box, or just a nice gesture that may mean more, to really get your love across, to get your point across. Because when it comes to money, maybe you're on a savings plan, like we've talked about in previous videos, or maybe you're just waiting for that next paycheck to have some money back in your hand again, and this day just came too soon. Either way, or whatever the money related issue could be, there are plenty of other ways to celebrate mom this year. She may just simply want that quality time, or even like a handcrafted, well thought out gift or idea that didn't really cost that much, but it could turn out to be everything she needs and more. Now, as I conclude this special video, I want you all to leave with that thought. If it's in the budget to break the bank for mom, then great. Do that by all means. But if not, there should be no pressure. Now do some thinking and do something that she will never forget. And then for those who are dealing with the loss of their mother or a mother figure around this time, there may be someone special in your life who has somewhat taken the place of that mother role that you could devote your love to, or your attention or money to. Or you could rest and just think about the memories of your mom, from the past. Either either method, either way is perfectly acceptable, And hey, no one should tell you any different. And that, my friends, is going to lead me to the verse of the session, just John chapter 16, verse 21. And it reads, "A woman giving birth to a child has pain because her time has come. But when her baby is born, she forgets the anguish because of her joy that a child is born into the world." And this verse perfectly exemplifies the sacrifice, the strength, and the love of a mother. Now I can understand why most of us would want to go all out for our mothers on this day. I mean, they deal with a lot most of the times from the cause of us, especially when we were kids, sometimes when we're, young adults. But yet we still don't get discarded, especially when we really need them. It's very much like the unfailing love of God. Of course, the unfailing love of God is matchless. It it can't be compared to at all. But it just makes me think about that. Just like with a mother, there is nothing we can do for him to love us any less than the amount of love that he has for us. We were fearfully and wonderfully made in his image, and God loves all his creations. I believe God loves it when we honor our mothers and fathers, which will be next month, of course, in this manner, because it shows him we are loving just as much as he wants us to love, as he commands. And Mother's Day can be really any day or every day, but just like any other holiday, having a spending plan is key to succeeding on our financial journey. It mainly could be something to take into account for next year if it happens to be too late now. But hey, ending not so good spending habits and replacing them with sound wisdom that we get from God alone, we can do that at any time. So let's go ahead and start doing it. And now I would like to thank you all for tuning in to this special session of Banks Wants You to Know, where financial discipline equals financial success. And I really appreciate you all hanging out with me to learn some things about finances. And if you've heard something that you will find useful for your financial journey, then great. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone who can benefit from the content. Share this with your mother. Share this with a mother that you know. Share this with anyone you can think of. Times are hard, but we can build financial success together. And also, like I was talking about earlier, let me know how you funded your mom's gifts or your mom's events in the comments, and if you had a plan, or if you spent your last, or you're gonna try something different for a change to save some money. Let's talk about it. Thank you again, and class is dismissed.